Okay. Let me choke it. Okay. Look at that. That's pretty cool.
It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad.
No.
All right. And it started on compression.
Yeah, that was the craziest
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. When it finally starts, it starts on compression.
A free start.
Yeah. Didn't sound bad.
No, sounds pretty good. I just have to be able to let it run long enough to kind of break it in just a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, I got to set the oil and
Oh,
I got to get all that.
Yeah.
I got to start it dripping. All right, you can.
I would have made a good movie actor. So anyway, Randy must have brought me up here, and that would be in '85 maybe?
Well, I moved in here in '84,
Okay, so '85 would be a good starting point.
and you were here before I built the other garage because I had the grapevines in there.
Okay,
And I remember you go walking over there. But I went to your house on Pennsylvania.
right.
So when did you move out of there?
That's before Randy moved in, because he took over the spot that I had,
So when did you buy your house in Lomita?
'86.
Okay. Yeah, you probably came up here first time I met you.
Yeah.
So it was probably '84.
Well, I remember you were still dating Dina at the time.
Yeah, we got married in '88.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, we got this bee here. And I think the first time I remember hearing about it, Cecil Ralston owned it. And I don't know when that would have been. I don't think I met Cecil until like the first couple of Chickasha swap meets. And I heard that he had it, and then I don't remember when. It was probably after he passed away that Waylon bought all the cars. And then I just saw the thing at Waylon's house 3 or 4 times when I visited him. Never dreamed it'd be here, never dreamed I'd be touching this thing.
So what year would that have been?
Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
think
recent.
I think
Okay.
Waylon bought the car 10 or 12 years ago, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I remember him buying them because he bought all those cars at one time. And then I went up there and bought my 1903 from Waylon.
Now, how long you've known Waylon? 25, 30 years total. So you knew him for at least 10 or 15 years before he bought the cars from Cecil Ralston in Texas. You had already known him at least 10, 15 years before that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was my cousin Ken that took me there. Probably not. It was probably my friend in Portland, David Ashbacher.
To meet
who
Cecil.
Introduced me to Waylon.
I'm sorry, to Waylon.
Yeah. And that could have been early 80s. Because I used to go up there for the Portland swap meet. And I think that's where I met David.
So when you got this car down here,
which was around
it's
Christmas.
exactly the way it was when Waylon got it. Okay.
And I have to point out, thanks to Larry, the left rear wheel didn't come off the car. Because Larry's the guy, if you look at the other video, Larry's like, hey, you dumbass. The left rear of the wheel of the car is coming off.
Well,
and I had transported that car. I had towed Waylon with a tow rope behind his pickup on a busy 2-lane road about a mile down to a place we could load it on my trailer, and none of us noticed that the left rear wheel was coming off. But Larry had the presence of mind to point it out. And we got it back on. You can look at the other video. We got it back on before it left the trailer.
You're really lucky that tire didn't fall off.
Yeah.
it was still on the axle, but I could see all the brake lining.
All the brake lining.
I don't know
on
how
there.
close it was to coming off.
So Kim got this car right around Christmas, and let's just pick up there and see what Kim did as soon as he got the car. I know he was real nonchalant that day. He could care less about the car. Actually, he was pretty damn excited. But I'll let Kim tell the story.
Well, here it is. Right now I'm practicing expert disassembly and misplacement of parts. So let's see, what are we doing now? We just did the cam bearings. They had 7/8 thousandths clearance in them, which is too much, so I took them up there about 2 thousandths. I'm just starting the rods to check all those, and I'll check the mains and then put the cover back on the bottom. Then I got to take the transmission out, check out the gears. I think everything's okay in the transmission.
So you got good Babbitt and stuff in the engine?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about the radiator. I got to fill that up. I got to check the gas tank. Right now, the distributor, also working on that.
Well, how much of this car did Ford actually make? I mean, he farmed out a great deal of stuff on this car, right?
I think he farmed out everything.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much on here at all, if anything, that Ford made.
Even the engine?
I don't think so.
It may have been made by Dodge Brothers,
Could have been.
because they were one of the principal stockholders at the time.
The rear end is by American Ball Bearing Company.
Let's start with the rear end, because that's the first thing that you got into when you dropped off the vehicle. It's not here, it's in another room, but tell us what you found on the rear end, what your opinion of it, of the design is, and what condition it was in.
You could move a house with that thing. It is really strong, and you can look at that thing and you can see where Henry got a lot of the ideas for the Model T in that thing. It's really beefy. Ball bearings everywhere. It was all in good shape. I just took it apart and made sure everything was greased, and basically took everything apart and put it back together.
What about the rear axle nut?
I had to make that. One of them was missing.
And you said you had, what, 7 hours in it?
7 hours making this stupid axle nut. Let me get that.
On the left rear, the axle nut was missing, and Kim had to fabricate one.
Yeah, and that's the one he just made.
Here's the one he just made. This is what holds the wheel on the rear axle.
Yeah, it screws into the axle, holds the wheel on, and then this cone fits in the tapered hole with the slots in it, and then you tighten up the bolt, which spreads the threads and locks the thing in place.
Now,
that was completely missing.
Is that on all four wheels or just on the rear axle?
Well, a similar mechanism on the front,
Okay.
but they're both there, lucked out there.
And tell him about the threads. No, didn't you say the threads are the same for each side,
Oh yeah,
but different somehow?
really strange. The two rear hubcaps are right-hand thread. The two front hubcaps are left-hand thread, which just makes no sense to me. I don't know why they did that, but that's the way they are. Because I do have a blueprint for one of the hubcaps from Ford, and it says right rear I don't know if it's a left or right hand thread anyway. But it says 1 required. So if they were all the same, it would have said 4 required. So I don't know why they did that, but that's one of the idiosyncrasies of it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this video here, and we're gonna continue.